What's the last week been like for you now that we're kind of like we're closing this experience now? Last breakfast together. When you think about the last week, what comes to the head and heart?
Yeah, insightful. The 48 hours with Lino probably the most profound experience throughout the whole 15 months. I remember when you first just showed me Trinity, like you in one of our normal check-in calls, you gave me like a little presentation on what you were thinking, just when it was like just this little idea bubbling around in your head, and like this is that sort of stuff is sort of what I envisioned, like the connections, the bonds, whatnot. I didn't expect any of that, but you know, like that deep inner work, overcoming and stripping back those limiting beliefs. Yeah, like that's the stuff that really drew me in, and yeah, like got the full experience this week, especially those 48 hours with Coach Holler.
Yeah, they were powerful. What is the last week meant to you?
It's a level of connection that you don't realise you're desperately craving and deprived of. Conversations that you scarcely have in the, I guess, outside world. And it inspires me to, because like this you don't get this, feasibly you can't have that every day with this group of 10, 12 people, but it inspires me to create my own version of that, not in a sense of literally creating retreats like one day, but just with my own friends, family, and just strengthening the bonds there, watering the grass where it is.
How do you think and feel Trinity has cultivated and created that connection piece for you?
It's a safe space that celebrates everyone for who they are. I think Casey summed it up best at dinner last night. Everyone connects with each other in their own unique way, but is so open and accepting of everyone for who they are, where a introvert like Kiara is sitting in between at dinner two of the biggest extroverts I know in Lockie and Jacob, and they're just all just collaborating and having a good time and like watching the boys bonds, and I just, yeah, all with just one common sort of congruency and just self-betterment. Yeah.
I think that's a great point, is that you can have completely different people all being connected to each other. I feel like a family.
Yeah.
We zoom out. So this is the last week. Zoom out. Last 15 months. What's been the best parts for you over the last 15 months?
You having the belief in me to go out and build my own coaching business. I mean, this time 15 months ago, I was trying to sell corporate health and wellness programs and was hating what I was doing, but like I wouldn't say wasn't aware that I was hating what I was doing, but I was like, this is just what I got to do. There's no other alternative. I think back to Carl Goodman's presentation of missionaries versus mercenaries. Yeah, missionaries versus mercenaries. And it was just mercenary behaviour. I was in a position where I could potentially make a heap of money. Like it's potentially lucrative selling health and wellness programs to corporate. That's not why I got into business though. That's not why I got in this industry. So far removed from it. Every day rocking up to work and you're not fulfilling your purpose. So yeah, the trust you had in me to pull some resources back from that and start investing into my own business, that's probably the most profound thing for sure.
Wow. And so going back to that man, that Tyler 15 months ago, what are the biggest differences that you see in him? Let's go personal, business, and skill set. Man compared to now. And how this container and this experience has helped you through that.
I said it before at breakfast, like this group inspires me just to be better. Especially like being around those boys who are just killer mindset, never say die. I was speaking to Ux about this, like fearlessly determined, like to a fault, where he'll literally knock himself out doing a breathing drill just because he's not going to say die. Like that inspires me. And in the letters that you told us to write, like, I wrote to Ux and told him like I'll be drawing on his strength and fearless attitude towards life in times of fear and uncertainty and even literal physical hardship. Yeah, I'll be thinking about him. So as a person, before, I was probably one that would look for an excuse, look for an out, but now very much that you just don't stop till the job's done.
How did that change?
A part of that was, it could have been like 5 or 6 months ago now, where it's just sort of, as it does, things aren't linear, and we're just like in a bit of a valley of despair. Business probably wasn't as good. Fulfilment probably just wasn't there as much, and was just sort of flirting with this idea of we could go to the mines for a couple of years and earn a shitload of money. Still do like a little bit of my business on the side, but yeah, just a little temporary just reprieve, earn some money, come back and hit it hard. But yeah, when you're at the mines, you don't clock off, you don't finish, you don't come out of that hole until work is done for the day. You don't come out till you're told. Me going over there to do that would just be me leaving the mines and the pits that I'm already in with my business and self-development. I'd just be quitting that before the job was done, and that's sort of like what spurred and sort of set the light bulb off in my head that I just have a habit of, whether it's acutely across a day, a week, whatever, I just have a habit of switching off before all the tasks are accomplished. And that's probably a reason why I was in a bit of a valley of despair and a little bit of a pit with business at that stage. So
how'd you get out of it?
Awareness is the antidote. Yeah, just being aware that I'm leaving a shitload on the table.
Yeah. So that Tyler 15 months ago, he was flirting with not being in industry. At some point he was thinking about changing jobs, something to get that quick fix of money. And then what about business and skill set as a practitioner? Like, what are some of the biggest differences between then and now?
Oh man, like skill set. Having the confidence to have deep conversations with clients about psychology, nutrition, essentially anything other than anatomy and biomechanics.
Yeah.
Because when you're dealing with a human, like 99.9% of their time is going to be away from their 1 hour session with you a week. What the fuck are they doing with that? And I knew that beforehand. I always wanted to be a holistic professional. I just didn't have the skills to be a holistic professional, nor the confidence in my competency. So that's probably the best thing that this has delivered. Like, I've been working with you since 2021 as a client, and I'd sit on our 20 minute, half an hour check-in calls, sometimes like wondering how the fuck you managed to how we managed to have a conversation for that amount of time every single week. There's something valuable. Like every week there was something tangible for me to walk away with and implement. And I'm now doing my own version of that with my clients. Like I would always think to myself, like, geez, if I was to do this, like I could never fill 20 minutes of a client's time and make sure that they have something to walk away with, but I'm doing that.
How does that feel?
Yeah, empowering.
Yeah.
Empowering, and yeah, just a strong belief that you can actually make a difference. Like, how much difference can you really make in your 1 hour PT session a week?
Yeah.
Like, this is how you make a difference.
And so what have been some of the biggest insights and value and learning that you've received from Trinity over the last year and a half?
An almost infinite database on any holistic health problem that you can think of.
Yes.
I think back to what Holly Sinclair said a couple months ago, having just that sounding board, like not just yourself, but 10 other incredible humans to bounce off, has almost been as valuable as the database, and a large reason of why I'm going to continue on. Like one day, like obviously one day in the very near future, everyone will eventually move on. Like you've said that yourself,
yeah.
But it would be foolish anytime soon to not have that sounding board to continue to bounce off whilst we're all still building and growing together.
Absolutely.
It would be, yeah, it'd be astronomically just stupid. Like a job's not done.
Job's not done. I love that perspective. Okay. That's the good. That's the progress. What about the obstacles? Like, what have been some of the biggest obstacles and challenges in the last year and a half, and how did we navigate that and overcome it?
You were very reasonable when, as I said before, things aren't linear and there were dips.
Yeah.
There were dips, and you were reasonable when there was a dip and there was a week or two where I couldn't make a payment. Yeah. And it's not a matter of, oh yeah, sure, let me pause your payments. It's like, right, we can do it, but what are you going to do for me? Or for yourself, rather, to make sure that we get over the hump and we're back on track. So yeah, having trust in you, that you would A, listen, and B, we'd get through it. Fear, which is something I unpacked throughout the sessions with Coach Holler. Like fear, like I just went into that final breathwork session, like what is holding me back? What is the reason why on some of those days still you can look at your to-do list and there's still a couple of things like not ticked off? Like what the fuck is stopping me? Because you've got the physical capacity. And yeah, I think fear is a big driver of that. Fear of rejection. You can have a list of 37 tennis clubs on the Mornington Peninsula, for example. Realistically, it wouldn't take that long to have a conversation with all of them. So why the fuck isn't it done? Just fear of rejection.
And what have you learned about fear of rejection over this recent time?
Give me 30, 60 seconds to think about how I'll articulate it.
Take your time. What have you learned and are learning about your relationship with fear of rejection?
You know, like tried to unpack like where it comes from. I was so fortunate to have to grow up in a house where I had a very loving, caring, protective mother, almost to my detriment. I think a lot of her protectiveness and almost like fear of me getting hurt permeates my psyche. Some of that may have to do with her own fear of abandonment, growing up without a father. Maybe it's not a conversation I've had with her, just sort of putting pieces together. Because yeah, that's sort of permeated my psyche growing up. Like always sort of had a bit of an anxious attachment and fear of rejection and abandonment myself, not just with partners but friends as well. Actually a really good example, like you see the bonds like those boys have, you sort of like sometimes can feel like an outsider, but you just gotta like, you just can't look at it that way, because it's, why would you choose to believe something that's gonna make you smaller?
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Whereas me from 5 years ago would have just put barriers up and just been this little loner boy.
Right.
Yeah.
So what did that younger boy need?
Yeah, a deeper sense of connection and fulfilment that you don't get on most surface level relationships outside of places like this.
Yeah, and what is Trinity in this experience given you?
Fulfilment, deep connections, meaningful conversations. Yeah.
That's beautiful. It's kind of the antidote is here.
Yeah.
You could have used that, actually, those reasons not to do this. When 15 months ago, 16 months ago, when I showed you Trinity, why did you do it? Why did you decide to leap in and do Trinity?
You mean the reasons of fear?
No, just the reasons you did it. Or how you overcame any doubts or fear that you had and apprehensiveness.
Trust in you, and trust that we'd get the job done, and are still getting the job done.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the groundwork was done in the time we spent prior. Like, we'd made awesome gains in my health and skin and mindset as a client. It was just a no-brainer to then make those same gains to my business.
And why did you trust me?
You made me feel safe and listened to in a way that not many males a few years older than me have made me feel.
Yeah.
Ever.
Wow.
Like I said before, or the other day, like that older brother relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me. What would you tell somebody, maybe a young Tyler, who's thinking about diving into an experience, diving into Trinity? It's 15 months ago, but maybe he doesn't have the trust and rapport that you had with me, but he's apprehensive. Like, what would you tell somebody who was considering joining this experience or applying for this experience, but wasn't sure, a bit fearful, a bit apprehensive, uncertain?
That you are strongest with connection, and deep connection at that, and like-minded people. Like, yeah, you likely think that you can do it on your own, and you're strongest on your own, and you're independent, and that's great. You very well may be, but that shit is amplified when you are in environments like this. Like, it is essential for survival, connection, not just the surface level stuff that you get in your normal life, but like deep, true connection, conversation. Like, it is essential for survival. Like, you need it, and you are better with it.
How do you rank that with your, let's go top 3 favorite things about Trinity? that impacted you the most? Where does that sit, and what are the other two?
Being careful not to be swayed by recency bias, but
Good.
like
Good. Think about,
Yeah.
go back.
Yeah.
Calls, the one-on-ones, the group calls, guest speakers. We had 1 retreat, 2 retreat, 3 retreat. So really good what you're doing now.
This one right here would have been a good one to actually prepare for.
Take your
Give me
time.
time. I think back to what Coach Ola said last night at our final dinner. He had a really good reframe. It's like, don't think of your favourite things, but rather think of what you're going to miss the most. And I'd say number one thing I'll miss the most is sitting around the table, eating meals together, having genuine conversation that's not just fucking stupid shit about what other people are doing or what's been happening on in current affairs, TV, sport, but actually the meaningful connection over a meal would be number one. After thinking about it, that work we did with Coach Ola over those 48 hours, like the job's not done. Like you're not going to be, I guess, cured of your self-limiting beliefs after 2 days. There's still work to unpack, but that awareness that it's given me, I've no doubt it's going to be profound.
Yeah. What else are you going to miss?
In a way, I thought I was going to be relieved, but in a way, I think I'm even more so going to miss the Saturday morning hangouts with everyone over the Google Meet.
Yeah.
And yeah, the skill set development as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll continue in alumni, of course, but yeah, every Saturday, just hanging out.
It's funny how when we're in it, like it's not what we think, right? We don't express that level of gratitude, but when something is ending or it's finite or it's going to change, all of a sudden you get perspective and you start to miss it.
Yeah.
Tyler, do you have any last thoughts, feedback, positive, constructive, for me, Trinity, last words that you want to kind of leave this conversation at, or reflections for the last year and a half that you wanted to express?
I think what's coming to me is this gratitude for allowing me to feel heard, included and loved. Like, you know, every dinner or every activity we do, not just this one, but at the other retreats, there's opportunities to share your thoughts. It's almost like it's almost like a form of psychology. Like, it's just amazing to just unpack how you're truly feeling in a safe space. No need to filter yourself. You just raw conversation. So just thank you for bringing us together. I I remember something you said to me when you pitched Trinity, back before it was even called Trinity. It was just an idea in your head. You said at the end, like, this is my life's work.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's something to be proud of if you would ever let yourself feel that. Yeah. Yeah, just an immense gratitude.
Thank you for saying that. I think back to not just a year and a half ago. Our relationship extends longer. I think back to the person I met years ago being so different to the man today. Like I see you embodying the masculine frame and the man much more than you did when I first met you. I see you really working through a lot of changes and growth in mindset and the way you interact with other people, the world, and yourself, and those self-limiting beliefs and fear itself. Yes, we've improved and changed health a lot, but I'm actually more proud of just the commitment you have to learning, it's not easy, you know? It's really not easy when you have these things inside of you that have been with you for years, the fears of rejection, the projections from parents, there's like a lot of doubt, a lot of fear. Should I do this? I've changed industries which could change the trajectory of your life. What does it mean to feel worthy? Who am I myself? Who am I in relationships? All of these things to unpack are hard. And I know you're still navigating them, Tyler, but I see it. I see it. I see that you're on the precipice. You're not. It's not like you're there, but you're on this precipice that I think, honestly, took a year and a half, like to get to a point where I finally start to see you. Like, oh, I didn't see that layer before. Like that. Oh, that's more of Tyler Frost. And I'm so glad that you felt the safety and the comfort to share more of that. I think your gold and the meaningful relationships and the antidote to loneliness and all of that is going to be found as you continue to lean more into that. And if you do, when you do, as you do, I truly believe that you will be able to stand very tall and very strong, believing wholeheartedly that you are a confident, capable man who is worthy and earns respect from other people, but respects himself. You keep going. This is the path you are walking, and that is the man you are becoming, one day, 1 week at a time. And I'm proud of the effort and the time and the energy and the heart you've put into the journey so far. But I know the best is yet to come. And I'm feeling Tyler Frost in the next year or two is really going to step into a new man because of this foundation that he's committed to and he's laid. So well done for that.
Thank you. I don't often hear praise like that much, so it means a lot. I feel the tipping point coming. Yeah, been on the edge for a while, and there's still a lot to do, but I feel it coming.
You're on the path.
Thank you.